Hey guys, AscendantGod here with Raid Shadow Legends. Going to be doing a guide on the Nightmare campaign and how to get through it to get all the stars. First thing that I'm going to do is touch on some champions, and no, we're not looking at Arbiter. So first I'm going to show you some of my champions so you can see the gear they have on them, so what kind of gear you need, and with this gear you can see when I go into the fight how much damage they're still taking. So the damage is really brutal. I'm going to let you know right now, you know, on the brutal campaign I would go through with Big Un, and he has barely any defense, barely any hit points, and he still would take barely any damage if he didn't one-shot everything. But he's a speed farmer, AoE attacks, he's kind of like Bellower, he just kills everything real quick. With Nightmare, you don't have the luxury of killing everything real quick, especially in the near the end of the campaign. What you need is champions that are really hard to kill along with really good crowd control. So like say Martyr is a great choice. You want champions that are defense based, hit point based, possibly supports if they're really hard to kill, but you need a lot of crowd control. So like say with Martyr here, she has provokes, she has increased defense, she has counterattack, things that really help your survival. Another one which surprisingly I wasn't expecting, Harvest Jack here. Harvest Jack is a really great choice as well. He has the true fears, he has the block buffs which come in really useful, and he has a fear on his A1. He also has his passive which reduces the duration of buffs on an attacker. Now, up until the very last one, I was using Turvold here because he hits so hard. Now, he's a semi-glass cannon. As you can see, he has a decent amount of crit rate. He goes up to 100% with his A2 that gives him 30%. A lot of crit damage. But you see, I still have a modest amount of defense. He's a clan boss champion for me right now. It's not the greatest for clan boss, but he's one of my best choices because he does a lot of raw damage. But when you get into the campaign, my suggestion though is to run with champions that are defense based or hit point based, because then you can improve their survivals. You see, like she has a lot of defense, but since her attacks are defense based, all of them, she'll still hit really hard. Okay, and then as far as with the campaign itself, so you see what kind of champions you tend to want to run with. You saw the stats on them. If you need to look back at it again, just rewind the video and look at the stats so you can see the kind of damage they're going to take. And I'm just going to run Brimstone Path, but I'm going to touch on a couple of the other ones that you're going to struggle on along the way to Brimstone Path. One is Deadlands. In Deadlands here, this one in my opinion, and in the opinion of a couple of other clan members, this is the second hardest one, if not equally hard to the Brimstone Path. And it's because of these Turvolds. You need, when there is any of these encounters that have Turvold in them, you need to kill him as quickly as possible. Because like I said, I used Turvold in most of my campaign along with Martyr because of the fact that Turvold here hits so hard, so ridiculously hard. All right, even with a modest amount of defense like I have. The second worst in here to take out is the Valkyries. She isn't nearly as bad. She does counterattack and shields and stuff, but she works good in conjunction with Turvold, because with him with the counterattack, it's brutal. So you take out Turvold first in these ones, then you go after Valkyrie. Third worst one, Godfrey's. This isn't as bad. This can be annoying because you have these basilisks where after you kill the basilisk, it resurrects, has a block damage, and then it does an AoE attack on you. So that's again where you can't really get away with glass cannons in here, because the glass cannons are going to get themselves killed because these enemies hit really hard. Other than that, in here, nothing that's that big of a deal. You want to take out the Dracomorphs if you're having a hard time taking out all the other champions, because Dracomorph will amplify the damage of everybody else. Dracomorph himself isn't that big of a threat though, so if you have a lot of crowd control, you don't have to worry about Dracomorph. You kill everybody else and then you go after Dracomorph last, because him by himself is But Brimstone Path, like I said, I think Deadlands and Brimstone Path are about equally hard, just in different ways. Like I said, with Deadlands, you need to take out Turvold. Brimstone Path, you need to take out the bomb dealers, which is this Lord Shazar guy here. You do not want him placing bombs on your allies. Soul Drinker, another one that places bombs. The dogs are a joke. The dogs you can save for last because they don't do much of anything. They don't even hit that hard. These ones here, she can hit really hard too, though. You got to be careful of her. But the first ones to take out are the bomb dealers, and then the second would be, I would say, probably her. Well, Soul Drinker as well, because he's a bomber. Lord Shazar, Soul Drinker, and her. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple sample runs here just to show you a couple of different compositions, all right? So I'm going to do first Martyr and Turvold. Now, like I said, Turvold is a semi-glass. Actually, you know what? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run with Big Un here, because Big Un, just to give you an example, this is why you can't run with glass cannons in here. He's going to get himself killed. Look, he doesn't have much defense, doesn't have much hit points, but he has tons and tons of damage. Now, the thing is in Brutal, he does amazing because he does so much damage. The thing is even with as much damage as he's doing in here, you see how little he's going to end up doing to these guys. He just doesn't do enough. Definitely don't want this on auto. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is provoke. Second thing that I want to do is knock down the turn meters with Big Un. But look at that damage. And that's really scary because, look, he didn't even come close to killing any of them. And he is going to take a lot of damage there. All right, so I don't want to use his stuns yet. I'm going to go through his A1 because she has the provoke on most of these champions. All right, so let me see here. I guess since she doesn't have the provoke anymore, I'm going to go after her next. And then, let's see, gradually wean down. The Big Un does an AoE damage to everybody, so it doesn't really matter who he targets. I just don't want to target anybody that's red with his A1 because he may not get a crit on them, and I do not want that to happen. Nice. We got a stun on that one, so we don't need to worry about her. Stun on the dog as well, so let's kill her since she didn't take a stun. So she's gone. Now, see, this is just really risky because I'm worried that, like, if Big Un gets attacked, I want to be surprised. Like, some of these enemies will definitely one-shot him. All right, so another provoke. And I'm going to wait until I get to round 3 to kind of give you a chance to see why having a glass cannon is a really bad idea here. Now, like I said, Turvold is good because Turvold, like, you can, Turvold, like, I know a lot of you don't have Turvold, but you could use somebody like, say, Hoarding, or Hordier, whatever his name is, or like Relic Keeper that can do a lot of single target damage, because then that way you can single target focus the champions that you want to take out as quickly as possible, the ones that pose the biggest threat. And that's what I like about Turvold compared to Big Un is, yes, Big Un does more damage overall compared to Turvold, but Big Un does not have the survival Turvold does, and he doesn't do damage nearly as much to a single target. Now that's weird. Why is he going first instead of her? Well, I definitely want to knock down the turn meters, buy myself some more time. Right, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do her counterattack. And you see how brutal this is going to get to Big Un. Big Un is probably going to end up getting killed here. Yeah, I don't want all of them coming at me full force. That's going to be too harsh. I want to at least try to stun. Alright, so let me take one of these out, or try to take one of these out. See how long it's taking to take them out. It's just not good. Right, and she got a bomb. That's not good at all. Bombs can one-shot her very easily if her hit points aren't topped off. Now look at Big Un and look at his life now. He's almost dead. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you there. Yep. Wow. Okay, so really bad idea, but at least you got to see that. Now let me show you the difference with Turvold here. All right, with Turvold, like I said, he has more survival, and he also lets me single target better. And ideally in these fights, I really feel like the best bet is more crowd control. Like Martyr alone just isn't enough crowd control. That's why I love Harvest Jack along with him. All right, but you see, like with Turvold, he is ripping through one enemy. He's not doing as much damage as Big Un did, but Turvold's also pretty hard to kill because he has like over double the damage that Big Un did. All right, so he would be complete overkill on her, so I'm not worried about going after her yet. I'm going to take out this one because he'll be able to one-shot her. Now I'm going to kill this one. Now the dogs are a joke, like I said. Now look at the damage he took. It's not nearly as bad. Plus, the damage he does with lifesteal, like he's going to top himself off here. Look at this. Well, didn't quite top himself off. I stand corrected. If it had a defense down, he would have. But problem was she didn't have the defense down on her. But look at his hit points are almost topped off, so we're good. Then this one, I'm going to save my cooldowns. This is why you want to go manually, because you don't want them doing auto here. She'll do her provoke on this champion. You get to round 2 and you have no provoke. You have no counterattack. No. No, no, no. See, they both top themselves off. All right, so. All right, so he's on a cooldown. That's not a good thing, but try to apply weaken. No weaken. That sucks. All right, do her provokes. Now see, the damage just isn't that bad to him. Compared to Big Gun, it's nothing compared to Big Gun. All right, so try to take out one of these. Do counterattack. Let's see, like, how great lifesteal here is, because, like, she keeps taking damage, but then she attacks and she, you know, tops herself off again. So no big deal. All right, and then finish her off. And it's overkill, but I want to kill her just to get her out of the way, because he's going to reset that skill anyway. Next one I want to go after is her. Beautiful. All right, and this is going to take a little bit longer than I'd like to here, but I don't want to put anything on cooldown over here. Now, he should go through enough turns here where it won't be a problem. He should get, yeah, so he's fine again. Yeah, so that's what I love about Turvold. He rips through turns so fast. All right, so here we go again. Now, this time around, you see, like I said, Big Gun is obviously, you know, he doesn't have the survival for this. And here, I'm going to do a counterattack. I'm going to give them a chance to come at me, and I'm going to show you why it's a lot better to go with champions that are at least semi-glass cannons. And she got a bomb again, so she might end up getting herself killed. So I need to use her strongest ability here. Ooh, that's not good. Now see, even with that defense, he's not looking too good there. But she's got defense down on her, so I am going to top him off with her. Oh, didn't top me off, but oh, good. At least Marta didn't die there, so that's good. All right, so you see, like, with Marta died the last time. Even if she died here, though, Turvold would be okay against these two. Just because he does so much damage that he'll top himself off anyway. Okay, so that's all right. Because now he's going to kill this one, and then the dog. Once I'm left with the dog, no big deal. So, after this, I'm going to show you one more with Harvest Jack. So see, again, the big key here is to get the crowd under control. You saw when I used her provoke first, I wasn't taking much damage. When I used her counterattack, the enemy was hitting me with brutal hits. And that's the thing, is that's why crowd control is so important. You don't want the enemies using their strongest attacks on you. It's gonna kill you, even with a lot of defense, because like those bombs just rip right through you no matter what. All right, so again, going to do the same thing here. Now with Harvest Jack, he doesn't do as much damage, nowhere near as much damage as Big Gun. Not nearly as much as Turvold, but he does okay damage. More than anything else, though, it's all the debuffs. Look, I got True Fear on all these champions. Now he's going to put a block buffs on them. That's beautiful. But now, if you're using him, do not, I repeat, do not have him attack on auto here, because on auto he uses A2 first, then his A3, which makes no sense, because then you're never getting the block buffs ability. All right, so next we're going to go for one of these, and then the great thing about him, he's going to be putting fears up left and right too, which is beautiful. Like I said, overall Harvest Jack isn't a particularly amazing champion, but for these fights he's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I don't really need to do the block buffs at this point, not worried about it. Don't need to do her counterattack. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do the True Fear. Well, no, I'm not going to do True Fear. I'm going to do the Provoke. Just because I still got a little bit of time to get through this here, and I want to try to finish this up for you guys as quick as I can here, because this has already gone a little bit longer than I was expecting to. But I wanted to show you some different sample fights here, because I know you guys aren't going to have the same exact composition, so you can see how different the damage is depending on the composition and what I run with and what abilities I use when. So you see how, like, a counterattack is nice, but counterattack alone is not enough. You don't want the enemies using those strongest attacks. That is what the killer is. More than anything, it's them using their A2s and their A3s. So a Provoke, Freeze, Stun, any of those kind of things, even a Sleep, as long as you don't attack that champion again, anything that can get them under control. All right, so then get the Provoke up, True Fear up, Look good as far as those things. Get counterattack up on her now. Okay. Now the beautiful thing about with Harvest Jack is if Jack ends up with a bomb on him, I don't really need to worry because he has so much hit points. And that's why like running with a hit point champion is great, is because in a lot of encounters, hit points aren't that great. Defense is better for survival. But in these fights, it doesn't really matter too much. Hit point champion is fine too here. Alright, so we're looking really good here. I'm going to take this one out next. So you see Harvest Jack, he really doesn't hit very hard. But that's okay. We don't need him to. The thing that Harvest Jack, where Harvest Jack lacks in damage, he makes up for in keeping the enemies under control. Okay, and so now start doing some fear. There we go. I love it with the fear abilities. It's like it's 50% chance that the enemy's going to be able to do nothing. Oh, now see, I should have gotten the fear on this one. If I was being responsible, I would have attacked this dog with Jack to try to get another fear up, because then it's more crowd control, getting both enemies in check with the fears. But I mean, with the dogs, it's not a big deal. But if they were more of a threat to me, that could have been an issue. All right, so again, I'm going to be the irresponsible thing and show you this why counterattack alone doesn't work. All right, I'm going to. Don't want them to come at me full force, so I'm going to do the chance to fly fears. Alright, so, and then I'm going to leave it at that and just attack with the A1s for a bit. So I'm going to give them a chance to buff themselves, give them a chance to attack. Alright, so he didn't attack, which is nice. And then let me go after him now, since let's give him a chance to attack. Yeah, so he buffed himself, which is not good. And that's why the block buffs is great too. That's why Harvest Jack is great on Brimstone Path, because you got these buffs that he blocks, the crowd control with the fears. It's really nice. And especially with a counterattack. If you have a counterattack champion, because then every time he counterattacks is a chance for him to put fear on somebody as well. Now you see this damage is pretty brutal. She's taken a little bit of her hit points, but again, look at this team compared to you know, with the Turbo, like with Turbo now, he already would have been dead. I have so much more leeway here. I might get myself killed here, but I kind of feel like this is irresponsible. But you see how much more leeway I have. I'm not as worried here as getting those debuffs up as I was in the other encounters, because Jack here is really hard to kill. And oh, and he does have immortal gear on, which is pretty cool. That tops him off every once in a while. I was wondering, I'm like, wait, how is he healing himself? He doesn't have lifesteal. That's what he was doing. Alright, so again, some more counterattacks. Nice. She just had the fear trigger. She can hit really, really hard. Like, really hard. Gotta be careful of her, too. And him, he doesn't, I mean, yeah, he's not that big of a threat. He's more of a threat than the dog, but... Now you see, this is why it's good to run with tanks. Champions with a good amount of defense, good amount of hit points, but can hit modestly hard. Since he's almost dead, might as well, yeah, go after him. Alright, I want to put a defense down on the dog. That's not good. Oh well. Alright, keep fear on him, and now game over. Just going to finish up with auto. So you can see here, like I said, with these champions here, I had a lot more leeway as far as what I attacked with. I wasn't even using any crowd control at all in the beginning other than the true fears with him, and have absolutely no problems. So that's why the more crowd control you have, the better. You saw some multiple different runs and how to get through it. You saw what got me killed. Those bombs are killer. But that's where Harvest Jack shines too, because the bombs are going to rip through a lot of his hit points, but since it completely ignores defense, it's the hit points is what's going to keep Harvest Jack alive if he took a bomb to the face. He didn't, so you didn't get to see it, but you got to see multiple different encounters, different compositions. Like I said, the most important thing on those battles is to just get through with a lot of crowd control. And if you have somebody that's a semi-glass cannon like Turbo, that's great too. But the thing is, you cannot go with purely a glass cannon. I mean, look at Big Un. He just... no. And this one here, again, I'm not going to run through it because this video's already gone longer than I wanted to, and it's really clear cut. When you get to the boss on this, I would not run it with Harvest Jack. I tried running it with Harvest Jack. I kept getting killed because it took way too long to kill the boss. I needed Turvold for that extra single target damage, because every time the boss attacks, there is a 10% chance they're going to unlock an ability that I don't remember the name of it, but it completely ignores your defense. So it's kind of like the bomb. It will most likely one-shot your champion. And every single time it always one-shot my martyr, and she just died. So gotta be careful of that. So when you get to the boss on this one, as much damage as you can possibly do to the boss as quickly as possible, and it's going to be a roll of the dice. Sometimes you're going to have really bad luck. There was like 3 times in a row where the very second turn that he did that one shot to my martyr. I can't kill him in 2 rounds. There's no way. So but yeah, 3 times in a row. But then there was one encounter that I did where I actually did a test run on this. And I got through like 9 turns and killed him with a Harvest Jack. It was way too risky. It was horrible. I wanted to see how many turns Harvest Jack took, and it was way too many. It was actually probably more than 9, but he never got a chance to do it, so I still got my 3 stars. But with Turvold, he gets through him a lot quicker. You want as much damage as you possibly can for the boss while having enough crowd control, like say a Martyr or a Molly or something like that, to get through the trash to the boss. And then it's just all about killing the boss. Ignore the allies of the boss. Just try to crowd control them, and you're good. So that's about it, guys. So yeah, so you saw some champions that are good to run with that. Like Altan, he's nice because he's a defense champion. He doesn't have enough crowd control, though, so I don't feel like he would be a good call there. I'm not going to run through the list of champions. Like Steel Skull, yes, he has healing, but he doesn't do a lot of damage. Like, you need somebody that does at least modest damage, like... And most of the attack-based champions, like the problem with Steel Skull's support champion that's attack-based. No, the damage is a joke, especially because I have him geared for the clan boss. But anyway, but yeah, you need people with serious damage that has decent survival. So you saw what to do there, guys. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully it was useful. If you have any questions, you're struggling on Nightmare, or you can't get up to Nightmare, you're struggling with one of the other campaigns, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, I do hope this was informative. Sorry it was a little longer than I was expecting it to take, but I wanted to show you some sample runs so you can see how different compositions work out in there. So if you're struggling, again, good luck with it. Comment in the comment section and let us know how you can help, or also go to my the description section below this video and click show more. There's a link in there to the Sin clans in Discord. You can also get in touch with all of us there, and there's some really knowledgeable people in there, not just me, a lot of other people, some that are even more knowledgeable than me in this game, that could give you some really good advice to help get you through Nightmare, because it is a sacred shard and there's some decent rewards along the way. So that's all I got for now, though, guys. So I wish you luck with Nightmare. Hope this was useful to you, and until the next episode, good luck and take care. Hey guys, Anthony here, also known on this channel as AscendantGod. And shout out from down below, because we love everybody equally here. Well, thank you guys for checking out the channel here. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with the latest content as I provided on here. Also, be sure to check out the description sections of the videos regularly as well. That's where I provide you guys with all the resources that I'm able to find that I think would be useful for you. It's also where you can show your support, and it is much appreciated, because regretfully, playing video games and making funny videos doesn't support the family. So any support you guys give is really appreciated. And other than that, I think that's about all that I got for now. So in the meantime, I'm gonna get back to this here. I think I almost got it figured out. So wish me luck, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. So until then.